From Heart to Hanger is where fashion tales come alive. Dive into the personal stories of people from the fashion world, designers, style lovers, and fashion influencers.
Discover how life experiences shape our style through everyday conversations, explore fashion trends, and embark on a self-discovery journey to find your own style. Be part of a lively community where sharing the love for fashion is the everyday style.
It's your backstage pass to the playful, fashion-filled journey from the heart to the hanger. It's more than just about clothes. It's about the magic of fashion that binds us all. Get ready to be a part of the story where every episode is a runway of ideas and stories waiting to be shared.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode from Heart to Hanger. I'm Britt Smith alongside the beauty and brains of ARIANNA Andreas, Paige Andreas. Hi.
Woohoo!
Today, we are going to dive into the brand identity of ARIANNA Andreas and how it was crafted from the name to the logo to the core values that the brand stands for. We are going to discuss like the thought process behind choosing this particular style and aesthetics for your brand. So that's what the viewers can expect from today's episode.
Yeah, an exciting one.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
How did you come up with the name ARIANNA Andreas?
Okay, so I get asked this all the time. People are like, who is ARIANNA Andreas? And I'm like, well, it's sort of me because it's my middle name. But this is how... Remember back to the first episode, I was talking about how, before kids, we would end up being out for dinner, over a bottle of wine, discussing like what my dream career would be. And it always came back to, having my own clothing line. And I'm like, one day I'm going to have my own clothing line and I'm going to call it Gigi Andreas. And I'm like, doesn't that have such a good ring? I'm like, I love it. And I would just like say that over and over in my head all the time. Well, then we got pregnant with our first child and I just couldn't get that name out of my head. So I was like, I think we have to call her Gigi. And then of course, when we decided, that we were going to actually start this brand, I'm like, hey, well, that's kind of unfair to future children.
Yeah, smart.
And like, there would always be that complex around like, why did you name it after her? So then of course I was like, hey, back to the drawing board. And I'm like, well, I don't want to call it my name. Like, I know a lot of brands like just use like their first and last name, but I don't know. I didn't really want that. And then I just kept saying a bunch of things. And then I'm like, what about ARIANNA Andreas? So that's just how it was born. I was like, it has a nice ring to it. It's still like part of me and my identity without being like my first and last name. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So obviously Andreas is your married name and
Yes.
ARIANNA is your middle name.
Yes.
I love Gigi as a name too, and Gemma.
Thank
So
you.
those are the name of your two jackets.
Yeah.
I just love all the names. I
Thank
like
you.
how unique they are. And
Yeah.
I love that you decided to think of future children.
Yes. I always thought like, because I'm a middle child, and I was like, I'd be pissed if my mom had a brand and she called it Peyton.
Right?
That's my older sister, but there's always that like sense of competitiveness between siblings. So
For sure. And you grew up with three sisters, so I'm sure there was
a
lot of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about more, I guess, like aesthetically, like the logo. How did you design this? You guys are like you and your husband is what I'm referring to. You guys, like a 2-person show here, like getting your brand started. Maybe there were other people helping you along the way as well, which you can go into if you want. But like, how did you decide on this logo and what does it represent?
Yeah. So I guess we were kind of like, well, we're just getting started and we didn't want to use any of our money to have a graphic designer make our logo. And I was like, well, I can draw. So why don't we just I'm just going to sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and draw out a bunch of different potential logos. I knew I wanted it to be like sleek and high-end looking. So of course I looked up a few of brands that I look up to. And when you look at brands like DVF, Gucci, Anina Bing, they're all like just like basic letters, you know, and they're bold and it's usually black and white. And so I knew that that was the route I wanted to go. It is kind of funny. I came up with this one logo and I was like, I really like this. I'm like, but like, it reminds me of something. And I just kept looking and then I'm like, oh my God, that's almost identical to this other brand. But I thought I had come up with it. Like I was so proud of it. And then I'm like, no, like somewhere deep in my mind that like had come out. But anyways, so yeah. So then of course I kept drawing more and we landed on this one. And then my husband like did it all up on the computer, just a lot of trial and error. And that's how we made it. We just, you know, got down and dirty.
Well, it looks really pretty.
Thank you.
Like the double A's and the font that you guys chose. Like I'm sure you probably tried a million different things out. And what you landed on, I think, is a great indication of kind of what you touched on. Like it's a higher end brand. The product is higher end. And I just really like it. It's sleek. It's beautiful. And yeah, good job to you guys for doing that all on your own.
Yeah, thank you. I am pretty proud of it. So.
Okay, so maybe dive deeper into maybe what your brand represents, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've definitely like touched on this in the past episodes, but in case you're like new tuning in, I just really wanted to create something that was inspiring to other women, and that I wanted people to know it was more than just clothes. Like anyone can design clothes. There's endless amounts of clothes, but it's the message behind it. And for me, it's always been about the way people feel when they wear clothes. So that was like my biggest inspiration. So I draw from that all the time. Like when I'm designing, when I'm styling, when I'm putting together outfits, it's all like, what's the end goal? Like, how are we going to feel when we're wearing these items? And just like connection with people. I always knew I wanted to do something where I was like working with other people and in that kind of like creative environment. So I was like, how do I put together all these things I love, like clothes, people, empowering? And yeah, that's how for us it is more about the meaning behind it than the actual clothes themselves. Of course, I have very high standards for the clothes.
Yes, you do.
A high focus on the quality, the fabric, reducing as much waste as possible, which is why we're going with the 3D knitting machines to eliminate the inventory or any waste that way. And we're just trying to make a little bit less impact if at all possible in this industry, because it definitely has a lot of challenges.
I think that goes a long way. And I think more people are looking into brands and how, I guess, sustainable and eco-friendly they are, because we briefly touched on it in the past. Like there is that component of fast fashion, and you know, it harms the planet and all that stuff. And so I think people are more aware of it nowadays.
Yeah.
So I guess you've been looking into like the supply chain of how you even get your product in your hands. How can you do that the most eco-friendly way?
Yeah. And even just down to like the fabrics that you're using, right? Like I feel like the more natural the fibers, the better.
Okay.
The better it is. And once again, like the higher the quality of the fabric, the less you're going to have to be replacing it. And it is like, it's like anything. The more you put into something, the more you get out of it. So yes, you're spending a little bit more, but hopefully you're buying a little bit less.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I'm so excited for people to have the opportunity to try on your clothes, because I know once people feel them on their body, they're going to know what we're talking about, because it's hard to describe but in words.
Yes.
Because we can tell you how good it feels on your body. I swear we're not BSing you. So I'm really excited for people to actually get your clothes on and have that feeling, because they're going to know it right away.
100%. And one of the things from day one of this the making of this brand, one of the things we've always wanted to do, and I hope to still be able to do, is once we start getting our clothing out into the world, one thing is kind of like a dream. I would love for people to like post videos of themselves trying on the clothes and talking about how it makes them feel, and kind of create like a campaign around more than just like the actual, like, this looks like this and it's like, what do you feel like when you put this on?
Oh, I love that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Is there any like other things you want to add, like core values that the brand stands for? You talked about like how it makes you feel, eco-friendliness. Is there anything else that you want to touch on? I know like your pieces are timeless.
Yep, they're definitely one of my goals, and like I've said this a few times, so I hope I'm not being redundant, but I just really want to create pieces that are timeless and that can mix and match with other items in your wardrobe. I say this with take it or leave it, but fast fashion, it is one of those, it's really hard to keep up with. It's constantly changing. And I'm not saying like don't follow any of the trends. I'm just saying like pick the ones you like and maybe don't invest as much money into them, and then invest into those pieces that are going to stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So your brand is, I would say, like on par with higher end brands. So people that maybe aren't used to spending a little bit more on higher quality clothing, is there anything that you would want to tell them? Like, I don't know, how to change their mind? Because I've been there, and
Yeah.
I see the value now in buying pieces that will last me longer. But I don't know, like the in-depth part of like the whole.
Yeah, and I totally get that. Honestly, that's always at the back of my mind, and that's kind of like part of that whole imposter syndrome that we spoke about before. It is like when you put that high of a price tag on your clothing, it is intimidating. But it is all about like, you get what you pay for, right? And I think it's really a mindset. So if you ask yourself like, are you going to buy 4 jackets this year, or I don't know, 4 different leather jackets over the next 15 years? Or are you going to buy one leather jacket and think of it as like, this will be your leather jacket that you're going to have forever.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get better with time. So it really is a mindset. And for some people, spending money on clothes is not a priority for them, and that's fine. I definitely would say like my brand in particular, I really think will resonate with, you know, the fashionistas. But not to say that you have to be super into fashion to want to buy these items. But I'm just saying like you have to understand that the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it.
Yeah.
I guess.
And
does that make sense?
Totally. And just it, higher end quality items, they just look better.
They do. They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will say, like, when you're younger and you have like your teenage body and like anything, pretty much everything looks good on you, right? Like it's just, it doesn't really matter. But I feel like as you get older, quality, it makes a difference in the fit. 100% for myself, especially. Like I've always been for the last 10 years, I would say, I've been huge investing into my denim, because for my body shape, a lot of those stores where the denim is more affordable, like I can't even wear them. They don't suit me at all. So, yeah.
Yeah. And do you think becoming a mom has also sort of shaped you into this different kind of, I don't know, inspiration maybe towards your brand?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I mean, we've talked about this before, but that when I had my daughter, I was really at like a different place in my life where I was not feeling like my best self, and I really was, needing that pick me up. And I think that made it even more important to create something. Like I felt like I could resonate with women who weren't feeling like themselves in their body, or like nothing looked good on them anymore. So yeah, it was really important to create those pieces that are, gonna help us in every way possible.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Because when you become a mom, I feel like your body will never really be the same.
No, it won't.
No. And which is fine. I think we go into doing that knowing that.
Yes.
But it's cool that you have that thought in mind when you're designing the clothes, knowing the kind of fabric that's going to look on every kind of body type, Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And even just down to like the design and the shape of like the overall shape has a lot to do with like the way it's going to, and the fabric, the way it's going to like hang from your body, where it's going to cling, like stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So what about like choosing the colors and style aesthetics for the brand?
Yeah, so initially I really wanted my first launches to be very neutral. I'm a sucker for neutrals. I feel like it is fairly trendy right now. We are seeing a lot of color in this like upcoming seasons, but with color, it does make it a little less timeless, and it's a little bit harder to put together outfits. So I wanted you to feel confident investing in something that you're going to get a lot of wear out of.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping it fairly neutral, but don't be surprised if down the line if you see like a pop of color or a pattern just like kind of dispersed throughout the collections.
Yeah, I like that. And being like a higher end brand, you don't want to buy like a fuchsia like color and then not probably wear it once and never again, right?
Exactly. And I mean, when you stick to more neutral colors, I feel like you can wear them more often without it being like that standout piece where it's like, oh yeah, you wore that yesterday.
Yeah. Like what were we saying? You were wearing like the same sweater for...
Yeah, the cashmere sweater I wore multiple times over the last week. But it's like, nobody knows if it's the same cashmere sweater.
No.
It's just a camel color.
But it's so nice.
Yeah. So comfy.
It's gorgeous. So the fashion world, I know nothing about, but I'm assuming it's probably pretty cutthroat.
Yes.
Like you have, I'm so inspired because you've done the thing and built your brand. Now you have your lines, you have your pieces. Like I'm very inspired and like, you go girl, like this is pretty fantastic.
Thank you.
But how do you want, I guess, to compete in a way where, in this world where you can like uplift, I guess, other brands maybe? I know like you want to uplift women as well, but like, I don't know, like, have you had any sort of interactions with other brands that have given you like positivity or like helped you along the way? And
yeah, I mean, I would love to get to a point where, you can like do collaborations with other brands and get feedback. But yeah, like that mentorship call I had with Anina Bing, that was amazing. Like they were definitely not holding back, and they were, sharing like the nitty gritty kind of on how they got started. And I just feel like that's the stuff you need to hear. Like you don't want to know that everything just like fell in their lap and and it was all, butterflies and roses, because it sure hasn't been that way for us. So I just feel like learning from each other's mistakes, helping each other along the way. And I am more than willing, if anybody out there is looking to start their own brand and they have questions, by all means, ask me. I love to help. I wish that more people would have done that for us. And we are starting to find those people who are very willing to share. Like we're working with a company called the Fashioneering Lab right now, actually, and we've hired a consultant, actually the lady who started it, and she is wonderful, amazing. I just feel like she's like my best friend when I talk to her. She's so sweet. And she's really like giving us a lot of that like insider information. So if anybody, ever wants to know anything from me, I'm an open book.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So, moving forward, I guess, tell us where you are or where your brand is right now. I guess give us a sense of where you're at, where you want to be, in the near future.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, currently we will be selling direct to consumer through our website. We would love to do wholesale. I think it's important to like not put all your eggs in one basket. I would love to be part of like department stores. I would love to one day have our own stores. So we definitely want to disperse ourselves in as many ways as possible. But starting out, it will be available on our website for purchase. And then I guess we'll just kind of see how it goes from there. Okay. But that's our main plan, is to get it in as many different outlets as possible.
Okay. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
So your website,
yep.
That's up and running, so people can go there right now.
Yeah. ARIANNAAndreas.com.
Okay.
We have all the items up there, so you're able to see the different colorways. Most of the items that we have worn today are available in several different colorways, which is such a great option. I find when you find an item that you love, I often will buy it in more than one color, so that, in case something happens to it, but also because I love it so much, I want to be able to wear it in different colors.
For sure.
And then as soon as everything is ready for purchase, we'll definitely be making announcements on our social media channels. If you've signed up for our newsletter, you'll get an email about that. But yeah, it's all starting to come together here.
In the works. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to what we are wearing.
Yeah.
The fun part.
Yeah.
The dress up part.
Okay, I'll start with me because I'm only wearing one item. Unfortunately, I would love to be wearing the denim, but I don't have them in my size yet. But I'm just like sitting over here looking at Brittany, and she's like a vision in the clothes. So, nice. So I am wearing the Olivia boat neck pullover, and this is 100% merino wool. And I don't know, you gotta feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, so oftentimes with wool, it's like very itchy. This is like zero itch. Okay. I don't even know how this is possible, but like zero itchiness.
Yeah, no.
I just want to live in it. It's so comfortable. It retains its shape super well. And this one I've worn multiple times too. I can't get enough of it. It's going to be available in 4 different colors.
Love
so
it.
There'll be lots of options there. I am wearing a size small here because we basically just ordered samples in the size that we were going to use for our photo shoots. Mm-hmm. If it was my own personal one, I'd probably size up to a medium for that more oversized fit. But as you can see, like it is still slightly oversized. Mm-hmm. So I
love it.
Yeah. Thank you. And then you are wearing the Mila Dolman sleeve top. So you can't really see it, but it has like almost like a bat wing. The arms are so, you're going to show us?
So if people are just listening, we're recording ourselves.
Yes.
On video. So we're going to put this somewhere on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube.
So you can go find it and then watch what we're wearing, I guess. But yeah, this sleeve is amazing.
Yeah, it's so comfortable, this material. And the material she has on is eco viscose. And once again, like we mentioned, it's all made on 3D knitting machines. So it's completely seamless and zero waste. I'm so happy that we found this company out of Brooklyn. We have been looking for a way to not have incredibly high amounts of inventory just sitting around. As a startup brand, it's really hard to get your minimums down, and that's the time you need it most. Right? Yeah. Like that's not the time where you want all this inventory. It's so wasteful. So that's just another reason I love this company that we're working with. And then you're also wearing the Dawn Merino wool cardigan. So that's also 100% merino wool.
Oh, wow.
And like, don't you find it's just so comfy?
Soft and it's great.
Yeah. And that's also available in 4 different colorways. So.
Okay.
Oh, and we can't forget, and we were kind of joking about it earlier. She is wearing the Georgie denim. So we have, actually, initially, it's only going to be available in the blue wash. But if we get enough requests, we are going to go to production with the faded black. I love the faded black. Yeah, just when we did an earlier poll, we had more interest in the blue. But you guys let us know. Like I said, we want that feedback. We want to know what you guys want. It's all about you guys. So
we want to know what the people want.
Yeah, we want to know, and we want to give it to you. So let us know.
Well, yeah, so you can find these podcasts also on YouTube, so you can actually see real people wearing the real beautiful clothes.
That's right. You can look at all the funny faces we make and awkward movements.
Our first podcast ever, people. This is our 4th episode.
Yes.
Look at us.
It's been so fun.
It has been really fun.
I mean, if we didn't have like my husband driving in circles around the house with the 2 kids in the vehicle, we'd probably like keep going.
We're like 20 more minutes, please. Okay, well, I think that's good for this episode, From Heart to Hanger.
Yeah, thanks, Britt.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me co-host with you and learn more about this brand and beautiful passion of yours. I'm so proud of you, and watching it unfold has been really cool to watch. So big congrats on ARIANNA Andreas.
And stay tuned for episode 5.
Yeah,
All right.
Sounds good.